my darlings. You are welcome to our channel. My name is Mariah Ahonaya, and together with you, we host this channel. Currently, we're on a journey holding new mamas and new papas' hands in navigating their new roles as parents. And last week, we spoke about postpartum changes that women and some men experience. And we said that we should watch 2 movies that will help us understand these things better. How many of us watch those movies? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm impressed. If you haven't seen the movie, then I would not advise that you continue this particular video because you may not be able to relate to some of the things that are going to be said. And yeah, we're going to be talking about For Maria today, Ebun Pataki. For Maria is a Netflix movie. It was, funnily enough, it was created and directed by a man. It was written and directed by a man, Damilola Orimogunje. And it's an award-winning movie. It's a powerful movie, passes a poignant message. You know, it has a tragic end, yeah, but it's an amazing movie. I will see you guys shortly and we'll dive into the review when we come back. You are welcome back. Yeah, I'm excited to be reviewing this movie. I haven't ever reviewed a movie before, so I hope I do a good job. But yeah, it's supposed to be a bit fun, but this movie isn't that kind of movie. It's not a fun movie. It actually had a very, very tragic end. But as tragic as the end of this movie was, 86% of Google users love this movie.
She bled so much on the table. It was the only way to save her life. She's so strong. She made it.
Orúkọ ọmọ náà yóò máa jẹ́ Maria.
Maria.
Didn't go.
Before I did this review, I went and watched a few other reviews, and some of them were misleading. You know, a lot of them were a bit too critical. And those criticisms came more from, you know, younger people, people who had not gotten married or probably experienced this. So I would say that this movie is more relatable to someone who has seen or experienced in some way postpartum related issues. Okay, so if you if you are not in that phase of life, you may not enjoy this movie. Let me just be very honest with you from the start. So what is the movie about? The movie is the story of a woman called Daring. Daring is played by Meg Otanwa, and it chronicles her life postpartum. They didn't really show us the story of the intake of her child or her pregnancy, but we see when she births the child. That is where the story starts from, where she births her child and how painful it is. And we're given whispers and, you know, filters and things like that of how, you know, our uterus is actually removed removed because of how much damage the delivery caused to it. And then we're introduced properly to Daring in scenes following, where she's very, very nonchalant, not happy, very, very sad. She has difficulty bonding with her child. She's gradually falling into postpartum depression, and then she has tinnitus, which is a disease where there's a constant ringing of your ears. She just falls into all sorts of dynamics and problems and things. She's sleeping too much. She's more, her husband is more excited about the whole pregnancy phase. We see her losing her hair and things like that. And it's just an amazing story. Eventually, she dies. She actually commits suicide because she cannot relate to the person that she was, before she gave birth to this child. She's a sad, dejected woman, and that is the cause of, she's in postpartum depression actually, and that's the cause of her death at the end of the day. So that's basically the story. And then we see other people, other characters. Her husband, Afolabi, who is played by Gabriel Afolayan. He is a supportive husband, as supportive as he can be, but he's also oblivious of the impact that postpartum depression has on his wife. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know how to handle her. So he's just trying to put band-aids. Is helping to carry the child. He wants to take her to a resort, things like that. He's trying to make her happy. But we don't really see, him following her to the hospital, for instance, taking her to the hospital as she needs to be checked medically. We don't really see him trying to understand exactly what is happening to her. So as supportive as he is, he's also lacking. And then we see his mother. Gabriel Afolayan is the person who plays the role of Afolabi. And then we see Afolabi's mother, played by Tinamba, and she is a good mom, but she is of obvious mother-in-law. She's critical. She's critical to the point of inflicting some mild pain in the woman. She's judgmental. She's like, she doesn't understand how the woman doesn't want to bond with her child, doesn't want to or cannot feed her child. She doesn't understand why the woman is acting so nonchalant. This is a thing of joy. She's just a very critical spirit, and at some point, Meg Otanwa asks her to leave. Now, there are some things that are lacking in the movie. Where are Daring? Where are Daring's parents? Where are Daring's siblings? Obviously, they have friends because we see friends, but where are does she have any closer friends? Because we don't see her confiding in anybody. She seems more like a loner. That is a dangerous thing. Why does she go to the hospital by herself with a baby when it is obvious that she cannot care for this baby? Why do they not bring in another form or source of support when mother-in-law leaves? So these are questions that, and gaps and holes in the plot that needed to have been filled for it to have made a bit more impact, but it was still very impactful. Overall, let's see, before we give it an overall rating, the plot of the movie was generally nice. The settings of this movie, the locations, I really, really liked. I loved that it was a relatable, average Nigerian home, and the home seemed used. It was like a house that had been lived in. I liked the spaces. I liked how it was just relatable. I liked when he was spreading his clothes on the line, on the wire downstairs when she was overlooking it. The house seemed like a real Nigerian house, a typical Nigerian house. And I liked the little details that they put in here and there, the lighting, everything. I like the style of the movie. There was this noir style, this darkish style, and it was very, very monologue or dialogue. There was little or no dialogue. There was very little dialogue going on in the movie. So it was dialogue, it's not dense now. What's the opposite of dense? I don't know I can't remember the word, but there wasn't a lot of dialogue inside this movie. It was more of actions and emotions coming through, and I give it up for Meg Otanwa, especially. That's Dairy. She did amazing. I felt her pain. And you know, the beautiful thing is that she actually added weight for this movie. So when she came back, the whole detail of how, you know, the CS cars are being wrapped so that water doesn't touch it before she has her bath, and then her consideration of suicide before she actually committed suicide. There was a time she filled up the bathtub with water was overflowing. All those little details, her hair falling off, she breaking down, not once, not twice. You know, I loved the role she played and how she played her role. So role playing, over 10, I think I'll give an 8. Settings, over 10, I'll give an 8. Plot, because of the holes, I'll give a 6. Style, I really love the style. The style of this movie, I almost want to give a 10, but I'll give a 9. Originality, this story is so original. We don't tell postpartum stories enough. Even other aspects of this movie were very, very, the style, for instance, the dialogue style, the film style, they were very original. And we don't do these things enough in Nigeria. So for originality, I'll give it a 9. For costume as well, yeah, really lovely costume. And that's why I'm even dressed like this, because there was a lot of Afro vibes coming from the movie. I like that, and I will give it an 8 as well for that, exuding that. Overall, it was a good movie, and I think overall, over 10, it'll be 7 point something for me. That's my review. I hope it has been interesting. I hope you will watch it if you haven't. And if you watched it, did I do justice to it? What do you think? Did you like the end of it? And yeah, I think he passed the message more for me. It was important that that happened so that people could see that postpartum could actually lead to people dying. Okay? That's the end of today's review. See you next week. Bye-bye. I'll see you next episode.